Hey, welcome back to Postal Barbecue. I'm Jabin Postal, and today at the grill, I'm gonna be cooking up a delicious reverse seared hanger steak, as well as an incredible cowboy butter dipping sauce that's gonna pair so great with this hanger steak. Other than that, let's get into the cook. As I said, welcome back to Postal Barbecue. I appreciate you being here. Today, I'm gonna be reverse searing this delicious hanger steak, as well as making an incredible cowboy butter to pair with it. And this is gonna be one of those cooks that's absolutely delicious, because if you've never had a hanger steak, or often referred to as a butcher's cut, it's absolutely one of those cuts that you need to find because they're tender, they're beefy, they're absolutely incredible when you cook them up, especially when you're doing it on a charcoal grill. And so there's not much to do to prepare this cut. You can see that, I got this one, it was untrimmed, so I do have to trim it all up because, there's all this little flappy bits on it, and, we don't want to cook it this way. This is probably one of the ugliest cuts I've ever had in the backyard here. And if you were to cook it like this, you would just be wasting your money. So we want to make sure we get rid of all this stuff, and as well split it down the middle, because if we flip this over, you'll see this almost like a seam right in the middle. And this, when we cut it in half, right on that seam and take that silver skin off, it's gonna provide two steaks that we can then cook on the grill. But right now it's only one. And so we wanna just take off all that surface fat and those little bits. And so all you need to do is take a sharp knife and just, take your time. And I like to cut off the outside first before I slice it down the middle, just because it makes it a little bit easier. And so I'm just gonna take my knife and just gonna go underneath this bit of fat, and just take your time with it. And again, just take a look at that. This is a big flap here. We do not want that on there whatsoever. So get that knife underneath, just slice it off. There we go. It didn't take much time. You can see that this is all trimmed up. There's a little bit of fat on there. That's totally fine if you want to leave a little bit on there. But one thing you will notice is that there might be a little bit of a tail like this. With hanger steak, you never know what you're really going to get. This piece right here is just sort of hanging on. And so I'm going to slice this off. I'm going to cook that separately. It's almost like a third piece. And then I'm gonna cut off that little extra bit of fat. And then now we're just basically left with the hanger steak, and again, with that seam down the middle. I wanna cut it down the middle to separate the two halves of the steak. To separate it, I'm just gonna score it along the seam and just slowly break it apart. There's one, and you'll notice that there's a little bit of sort of that seam there. And it's not even silver skin, it's kind of like a tendon. And so I'm just gonna slice this off. And you wanna do that because you're not gonna be able to eat through that. All right, there we go. So this is what I'm left with after the trim. I have two larger steaks and one smaller one. So I need to be a little more careful with the smaller steak to not overcook it. Or this would be a great option for someone who does like their steak a little bit more well done than sort of a medium rare, which is what I'm gonna be cooking these two today. And so I'm left with, like I said, two steaks. This one's a little bit thicker. This one's long and skinnier, but I'm gonna place it on and compact it a little bit so that it has more of a chance to evenly cook like the other one. And so what I'm gonna do to get started with this, I wanna season up the hanger steaks. I'm gonna be using my Mad Cow beef rub today. This stuff goes incredibly well on anything beef. And so I'm just gonna place just a thin coating on the outside, because like I said, I'm gonna be making that cowboy butter, and I want that cowboy butter to really shine through with this cook. That looks pretty good. And so with these hanger steaks all seasoned and ready to go, let me show you how we set up the Sloan Sear kettle for today's cook. So to set up our grill today for cooking, I placed in about 20 briquettes into the slow and sear, and I got those coals fully lit. Next, I filled up the remainder of the slow and sear basket until it was about 3/4 of the way full. And then after that, I closed the lid and let our temperatures come up to around 250 degrees. All right, with my grill sitting between 225 and 250 degrees, it's time to get the hanger steaks onto the grill, but I do need to put in a digital thermometer into the center of the steaks just to monitor the temperature so I don't overshoot my steaks. And so I'm gonna place one in that one, and again, one into the center of this thicker steak. With the thermometers in, let's go ahead and get these hanger steaks onto the grill opposite the coals. And then the last thing I'm gonna do before I close the lid is I'm gonna add in just a little piece of hardwood for some added smoky flavor. Gonna get that right over those coals. And then I'm gonna close up this grill lid. And I'm gonna begin cooking these, like I said, around that 225 to 250 degree mark until they reach an internal temperature of 110 degrees. At that point, I'm gonna come back, we're gonna get them off the grill, make our cowboy butter, and get ready for the final sear. All right, my steaks have been cooking for probably about 35, even up to 40 minutes now, and the Meter Plus just notified me that they're up to temperature, and this is exactly what we want to start making our cowboy butter. But before I do that, I need to open up the grill and mix together all those coals in preparation for a final sear, as well as during this process, I'm gonna just leave the lid open to make the cowboy butter, as well as let the hanger steaks sort of rest a little bit so that the temperature doesn't continue to climb. It kind of neutralizes, which is gonna be a great step for final sear. So let's open up this grill. I'm gonna open up the grill grate door. I'm gonna mix together all of these coals. There we go. So I'm gonna let these coals just start to get roaring hot. And in the meantime, I'm gonna get this cast iron onto the grill while the coals are still a little bit cooler and start to make my cowboy butter. So what I have to start with is 1 stick of butter. And get this into the cast iron. Just kind of chop that up. And then to that, I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of shallots. I also have a tablespoon of chives. Next to that, I have 2 tablespoons of finely minced Italian parsley, and place that in. To that, I'm gonna add in 6 cloves of minced garlic. And then I have 1 teaspoon of chopped up rosemary. I also have 1/2 of a lemon that I'm gonna squeeze all the juices into. I'm also gonna be adding the zest of the other half of the lemon. Place that in there. And then to that, I have some dried spices. I have a teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I'm gonna throw that right in there. And then lastly, some salt and some pepper, just to taste. Go, grab the pepper. And then I'm just gonna mix this all together. I'm gonna give this just a quick taste to see if there's anything that's missing. Oh, that's delicious. You know, it's rich from that butter. You can really taste that lemon, giving a bit of zest and tang to it, as well as all those herbs. This is a great sauce or a dipping sauce for steak of all kinds, or chicken, whatever you want for it. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let it sort of simmer a little bit to soften up some of those onions and really just pull out all the flavors of those herbs. All right, it only took about a minute to get to this point. Just gonna take it off the grill. I'm gonna place it just off to the side because I want that butter to kind of cool down just a little bit. And as it cools, it's gonna thicken up just slightly, making for a great dipping sauce. And so our steaks are already done. I'm just gonna remove our Meter Plus thermometers. And for the sear today, I'm going to be using the cold grate technique, which is one of my favorite ways to reverse sear steaks or really any sort of protein that needs to be seared off. So I'm only going to be searing these for about 45 to 60 seconds on each side twice, and this is going to help develop that incredible sear that's going to add so much extra flavor. So let's go ahead and get these hanger steaks seared off. All right, that's the final minute there. So I'm gonna move them off the coals. I'm gonna give them just a flip over. And guys, just take a look at that sear. It's absolutely perfect. So with our steaks all done, as well as our cowboy butter done, there's nothing left to do, but let them rest for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and get ready for the taste test. All right, these hanger steaks with that cowboy butter is all done. It smells absolutely phenomenal. You can really pick up that aroma from the butter and those herbs and the garlic from that cowboy butter, as well as the hanger steaks are absolutely juicy. There's juices all over the board, and I can't wait for the taste test. And so just like any other cut of meat, I do want to cut against the grain on this. And when I look at this steak here, you can see that it's kind of running more this direction. So I'm going to kind of cut it on a bit of a 45-degree angle. Just slide this over. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm gonna grab this piece right from the middle, gonna dip it into that sauce. And the cook on this is a medium rare. It's a little bit hard to tell just because of the grains of the steak. I'm gonna dip it into that cowboy butter. Just take a look at this. All right, let's go for the taste test. Oh man, woo! That's delicious. Oh man, there's great beefy flavor. It's tender. Oh my goodness. You know, there's a reason why the butchers keep these steaks for themselves, because they're tender, they're beefy, they're absolutely delicious. And then this cowboy butter is really great. You know, I haven't made this a lot, but whenever it does come out, it complements so well. There's a bit of brightness, there's that savory component, there's a bit of spice, there's the herbiness, and it really does pair well with any sort of beef, similar to like a chimichurri sauce that's light and herbaceous. You know, this is sort of its cousin, where it's the same sort of flavors, but more garlic, more savory notes with that butter. It's a great pairing for any sort of steak. I'm gonna go for another taste here because I can't wait. Oh man. That is so delicious. So guys, if you've never tried a hanger steak like this before, or even the cowboy butter, make sure to give them a try, because, you know, individually they're absolutely delicious, but when you bring them together, it just is gonna blow your mind. They're savory, it's rich, it's beefy. You got some great char from that reverse sear. I'm telling you, this is one of those cuts you need to try out for sure. That reverse seared hanger steak with that incredibly delicious cowboy butter was absolutely phenomenal. You're gonna love it for sure, so make sure to give this recipe a try right away. So until next time, keep that fire lit and get cooking.